Today we're going to answer a question from Adrian. He asked, what are my 5K and 10K personal best? We're going to start off with the 5K, but make sure you stay till the end because my answer for that 10K might really surprise you. I'm going to talk about each race in 3 steps. The build up to the race, the actual race, and then what I think my time would be as of right now. My all-time best for the 5K is in 1912. And I ran this my last race in high school at the district cross country meet. And the build up for this race was basically the whole season. I ran with my team and we were in super good shape. That's probably the best shape I've been in for a 5K, but it was at the end of the season and I've built up for that race specifically because you want to run your best at the end of the season when it really matters. Now, I wasn't varsity, so it wasn't really going to count towards anything. I was never super fast at the 5K, and to be competitive in Texas, especially the district that I was in, you have to be running low 17s or high 16s just to be close to the front pack on varsity. And the district that I was in is considered the hardest district in Texas. Usually at least one of the schools that's in my district would go to state. It would either be our school or there's usually 2 or 3 others that would go. And there were 7 schools in our district. So the buildup was whatever we would run for cross country, which was normally alternating between a recovery day and a track day. And our recovery days would be 5+ mile long runs. And then our track days would be something that's fast but geared towards a 5K. And then the actual race was a super good race. It was one of my favorite courses just because it felt really fast and it was in a park. So the course was pretty interesting. It went around a pond, which was always fun. One year it rained and there was mud everywhere, so you were pretty much running through like half a foot of mud, which was really fun. This year it was dry and it was super fast. They changed the course a little bit because I think they learned from the year before when it did rain not to have the course go in those certain areas. But they changed it a little bit. It made it a lot faster. It kind of went around a couple soccer fields and the grass was super short, so it was almost like you're running on concrete, so you could really get some real speed. And I told myself at the beginning of the race, this is my last race in high school, so I have to go all out. And I did. I went out pretty hard for the first mile. I remember I died out a little bit during the second, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. So I remember the person I was running next to whenever I started dying out, and I caught him back in the 3rd mile, and then I passed him. And I ended up passing a lot of my teammates that I normally wouldn't have passed, which was great. I mean, cross country is a team sport, but I mean, every place does count, even if it is your teammate. You're probably still passing a different school and a different runner, which is only going to help your team. And so the race went super well. I was super happy about it. I was glad that I went out on a high note for my senior cross country season. And as of right now, I think my 5K time would be maybe around 20-ish minutes, maybe right under 20 minutes if I have someone to actually run with me. If I'm running it by myself, I don't think I can honestly go any faster than a 21:30, just because I don't have the speed in my legs right now. I've been doing a lot of distance for longer distance, such as the half marathon and eventually the marathon. So I don't think my time would be able to beat what I was then, but that's just because I'm in a different shape for a different distance. On to the 10K. Well, I actually haven't ran a 10K. I skipped it and I went straight to a half marathon. So instead of talking about the 10K, we're going to talk about my half marathon all-time best. And my half marathon all-time best is 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 45 seconds. And I ran this about a year ago, right when I graduated high school. I got into super good shape for running probably around 9 to 10 miles. And so I was like, okay, I'm close enough to a half marathon, so might as well sign up for one and do it. The build up to it, like I said, I was running 9 to 10 miles. I started at 5, and about every week I would add a mile to my long run. So I was running probably 3, 4, or 5 miles during the week, and then on Sundays I was running probably 6 miles plus, but really around the end, whenever I was getting close to running the race, I was running 9 to 10 miles every weekend. I felt like I was in super good shape, and I actually was. Leading up to it, I was running all my miles around an 8:20 per mile pace, because that's what I was going for the half marathon. I wanted to run 8:20 per mile, which is a pretty good time for me, at least. I know people run way faster, and I definitely think I'll get to that point eventually, but whenever I was building up for this, I started running 5 miles around 8:20, and then I would add another mile so 6 miles around 8:20. And the way I would run it is I would do a progressive run, and that means I would start off slow and speed up as I go. So I would be running, let's just say 8 miles, and my first mile would be all the way up to an 8:40, and I would be finishing the 8 miles all the way at probably a 7:50. So I was doing this on purpose, so my legs would feel both the slow end and the fast end, and hopefully this would create a cushion of whenever I add the extra miles of the half marathon, it wouldn't affect me too much. But whenever I actually ran the race, it was a little bit different. Miles 1 through 9, I felt solid. I was running probably 8:15, so about 5 seconds per mile faster than what I had planned. And I think I would contribute this to just having so many people around me. It was just a super fun experience, and it was the first half marathon that I was actually trying to run a faster time that I was happy with. And so whenever I ran it at mile 9, that's whenever I really started to feel it in my legs. So I started slowing down just a little bit to rest my legs, because I had a little bit of time in the bank. So I had time to use to rest just a little bit, and I kind of did this on purpose because I knew that I would probably get tired. And that's probably not the smartest way to run a race, is to run it fast in the beginning and have time, because then you're most likely going to be tired in the end. And that's exactly what happened. I got to mile 9 and my legs just weren't feeling the best. I thought I was dehydrated, which I probably was. So I was stopping at every water and Powerade station trying to replenish that, but it kind of started making me feel a little heavy while running, and that mixed with tired legs just doesn't work. And not to mention, the farthest I ran leading up to that half marathon was 10 miles. So everything 10 plus miles was a new experience for me. It wasn't too bad. I got through it. I did walk a couple times, but really from mile 1 to mile 9, I didn't walk once. And I probably walked about 3 or 4 times for about a minute once I got past mile 9. But besides that, it was still pretty good. As long as I can finish strong and feel like I left it out all on the road, then I was happy with it. And my main goal was just to get under 2 hours, and I did that, and I was super happy with that. I think if I had to run a half marathon right now with people in a competitive setting, I think I would probably run a 2:05. I'm not in the higher end of running right now. I'm pretty solid in the 5 to 6 mile range, and I'm slowly working up. There's not too much motivation going on right now because there's no races going on, and my shins are also kind of injured, so I'm taking it slow. I'm really going to start building up in the fall and then start racing, hopefully, if there's races in the spring. That's my plan. I really wanted to be running a marathon for my next race, because I probably would have ran a half marathon at the beginning of the summer, spent all summer building up for the marathon, and then running that sometime in September, October, November time. But right now that's not an option, and I'm building up for a half marathon. That's it for today, everyone. If you have a question you want answered in next week's Time Warp Wednesday Q&A, drop it in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.